I love when my mom has about 2 drinks because she really, it's the first time I see her like really like acknowledge that she's a cute lady.
Yeah.
You know,
Like,
she'll be
like, yeah.
she'll just have a little bit more confidence, and it's nice to see, you know. And I miss
Raina
that.
loves it when I get drunk. She's like,
She does.
well, there was a time where if I wasn't working on a Friday night, I'd have a beer and we'd play poker. And it was so fun to her that she'd be like, are you having a beer? Are you going to have a beer?
Oh my
Are you going to
gosh.
drink a beer?
Raina is
so
how
giggly.
old?
She's 11.
Yeah, so that's because she's like, what's it gonna do to you, Mom?
Yeah, I
like,
know.
yeah, it's gonna change you. Well, that's actually a really good understanding of alcohol. It's not like just this beverage you just drink because you're thirsty, but it's something that's gonna make you a different person. And so she's kind of acknowledging. She's like, Mom, are you disassociating yet?
When Raina was really little and I would take her to shows, I would warn her about the dangers of drunk women because, you know, she'd be like 2 years old, sort of standing there at the end of the night, and they'd be like, oh my God, you're so cute, and want to pick her up, and, you know, like.
The dangers of
all
drunk women.
Teetery on their high-heeled shoes. So I told her, I go, they could fall on you. Like, you have to stay away from them.
That is such a good metaphor for what they do.
They'll fall on you. So
Or, like,
she was always
they do.
like,
They fall on you.
then well, I don't know how that turned into me doing like drunk mom. Like I started doing like impressions of drunk mom. She'd always want to play it. She'd be like, do drunk mom, do drunk mom. So I'd be like, get over here, little girl, you know. And
That's so fun.
and then when she started going to school, I was like, oh, like one time a teacher told me, they go, I know everything that goes on in your house.
Oh my God.
Because,
Oh my God.
like, Raina just babbles, I guess. So then I was like, what if she finds out about drunk mom? Like my mom and I played this game where she's super drunk. So then I had...
where even if she told the truth, where she pretends to be drunk.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't
It's like,
sound
oh,
good.
it sounds like mom's covering
Sure.
up some abuse.
Yeah, because moms are always walking around doing impressions. And
Yeah.
so then I sat her down and I was like, you can't tell anyone about drunk mom. Because I think secrets are healthy. Children. No, it was like a weird... I'm surprised I have her this long, to be honest.
Raina is 11. When did she believe in Santa?
Well, oh my God. So
What's happening with Santa?
I thought, like, this was, I think, 2 years ago. I thought that she was just playing me with the Santa thing. So,
like, as in she believes in Santa, and you thought, oh,
She-
yeah,
no,
But she's
I thought she
faking
was
you out.
pretending to believe in Santa to
Oh
get an
my
extra
God.
present, you know? And
Oh,
so
that's
then
hilarious.
it was like, you know, I don't know, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, her tooth fell out, and I forgot to put money under her pillow.
Yeah.
So I just said to her, she goes, the tooth fairy didn't leave money. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to tell you 2 things right now. Like, I was just going to pull the Band-Aid off. And I go,
Right before Christmas?
yeah, I was just going to let her. I just thought she knew
And
already.
she just lost a tooth.
That's the thing.
She
yeah.
just lost a tooth.
It is. That's when the Band-Aid comes off for most kids. I think, as their parent forgets to put money under the thing, and you're like, I'm toothless. I just lost 2 of my
Yes.
favorite people.
Yes.
It's your first sense of death.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, the money thing I was always forgetting and just taking from her piggy bank anyway.
She'd be like, I'm not going to go to the ATM tonight.
Hope that she didn't keep track. Hey, I just counted this yesterday.
Oh my
and it's
God.
$2.50 short. So I said, the tooth fairy's not real. And I could see that thing go across her face where she was like, what? And then, oh, that makes perfect sense. You know, that kind of like, why didn't I know that sooner? And I go, wait, did you know that? And she goes, yeah, but you could tell that she didn't know it. And then, so then I had to tell, she goes, what's the second thing? And I didn't want to tell, I just said, I'm not your real mom. And that was like, I just thought, I was quick on my feet.
Oh, man. Tom, when did you realize? Or was it? Do
I
you
think
remember
it was
when you
a
found
slow
out?
drip, but I do remember the tooth fairy thing came first, where I was like, because, you know, my mom worked tonight. She didn't have time to think about that shit. So, yeah, sometimes I would wake up and I'd be like, there's no... And I realized slowly that I had to tell her my tooth was lost for it to work. And I'm from India. We were losing teeth left and right, permanent ones. And so it was like I just noticed.
I put 15 teeth under my pillow. And I got nothing.
I think I remember how old I was. Like I had an inkling that he wasn't real, but I just wanted to believe it for my sister's sake. She's a year and a half younger than me.
Yeah.
So I was in 5th grade.
Oh my gosh.
Listen, it was already very, like, I knew I was a smart kid, but like I didn't want to have that talk with my parents. That was going to be awkward. So I was like keeping it going, and I also...
It is weird. It's confrontational a little bit. Like, hey, look, I know you've been fucking lying to me.
Yes, that was it. And I didn't want to have that conversation, yet I would ask my dad. I remember one time asking my dad, is he real? Just tell me, is he real? Just be honest with me.
You got him by his collar, shaking him.
You tell me,
tell me the truth.
You're following like some conspiracy theory down a rabbit hole.
You've got newspaper clippings all over a wall.
Well, this is the
red
thing
yarn
about
connecting
the movies. I feel like I was watching, when Raina was like, maybe 4 or 5. I was like, is she not getting that every single movie is about the parents not believing?
Right.
Like, you got to believe.
But
like, if he was real, there wouldn't be any like, hey, do you believe or don't you believe?
No. I disagree. I think that all those movies are propaganda to get you to believe again, because it's going to say, listen, adults don't believe. But then, but that's broken adults. And most adults aren't broken. And those who aren't, who are good people... And I haven't been hardened by the world. Santa could be real.
I love how she's got on her wall like that Homeland wall, with all these
No, this is what my dad went to such elaborate. I remember one time, and I was probably in 3rd grade. He was watching National Geographic, and there was some expedition in the North Pole. Not even in the North Pole. It was just in a tundra, and there were people I remember snowshoeing through. And I remember my dad was like, Nikki, come here and watch this. And I'm like, a kid. And he goes, they're looking for Santa. This is an expedition to look. And I'm like, if I would have watched that for more than 5 minutes, I would have figured out that he was lying. And then I would have known Santa wasn't real then. But I just bought it. So he sold me a lot of things. There was National Geographic. They were looking for Santa. Scientifically, it made sense to me to believe. And my sister, the day I found out Santa wasn't real, my sister came home from 3rd grade. And my mom was at the sewing machine in our living room. And I was on the couch, and my sister just walked in, threw down her backpack and was like, I know Santa isn't real. Our teacher told us.
What?
And my mom, yes, Mrs. Wright.
Mrs. Wright, you're wrong.
3rd grade teacher couldn't believe that the kids she was teaching didn't know Santa. Because half the class knew, and so she had them who raised their hands, who doesn't believe in Santa? All the kids raised their hand. Or she snapped at one kid and was like, you believe in Santa? She was like, I just remember the quote that all the parents called about was, well, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but Santa isn't real. And I just remember burst your bubble. That was just that's what it felt like. It was like my bubble burst because my sister walked in, threw it out her backpack. I know Santa's not real. And my mom was like, okay, all right, well, then now you know. I was so mad because I'm like, that's all it took, because I begged my dad. I was like, is he real? And I remember my dad's foot was shaking wildly. Because he was just like, I'm about to I could tell her right now, or I couldn't. He got this nervous foot thing that I was like, I know he's lying. And I believed for way too long. And I believed in UFO. And now I don't believe in anything.
You don't believe in UFOs?
I don't believe in aliens. I don't believe in
Me
ghosts.
either. I feel like no one.
You don't believe in aliens?
No.
If I did, I would be scared all of the time. So I can't believe in ghosts. I think ghosts might be real, but if I accept that they are, then I will be terrified anytime I'm alone.
Yeah.
In any room. So my body can't handle the stress that there's a world where there are ghosts. So I choose to believe there are no ghosts.
My family's scared and been like, make yourself known. Just do it.
I kind of like it. I don't know. I like the idea.
Sometimes I do feel lonely, and I'm like, I wish this hotel room were haunted. There would be there's been times on the road where I legit feel lonely enough that I would enjoy a haunting.
Yeah. God, my family believes it so hard. Like they were telling me ghost stories about my grandma's house this week.
Really?
And they're like both. I
Well,
had never heard my
that's the
brother
house that like
say
is
it.
very haunted.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. There's like a girl died of like polio in the garage, not the garage, the attic or whatever.
polio does leave ghosts.
That's the one
That's
thing.
the only one
That's
thing.
why you don't see as many anymore. Is that they got rid of polio?
Yeah,
Because
the
the polio
polio
people are
vaccine.
rich.
Right.
And
Yeah, they
The
ride around
rich
on
get-
horses.
they
and
Now
come
there's
back.
polo deaths.
Right.
And you haunt if you're a polo death
Yep.
too. Yeah. Okay, so tell me about what's going on at your grandma's house now. What recent stories have
The
people
story
seen?
that I heard is that there's no recent. That's why I have trouble believing it.
We're going over the ones that happened over the years.
These are old. And
And
my
they're
brother, I saw my older brother this week, and I hadn't seen him in a while, and he was confirming all these stories that my mom had told me before. But also, I remember as a kid hearing stomping coming from the ceiling. But part of me is like, maybe they just had a guy living up there because the rent saved money or something.
Or you were being haunted by a musical.
Yeah, by Stomp.
Yes.
Yeah. I heard a garbage can being played very beautifully.
it's very melodic.
Yeah, that is interesting. There are things you perceive as a child with your child brain that you can't make sense of at the time, and so you project ghost onto it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm torn
Like
because
that ghost uncle molested me.
that is a thing where it's like I had a memory of 3 men appearing in my stepdad's mom's room. I feel weird saying that. Seems like such a trashy statement.
What is
my
it?
stepdad's mom. Hanging out with my stepdad's mom.
My stepdad's mom's boyfriend sounds weirder because my grandma used to have a boyfriend. It was always so weird for me to say my grandma's boyfriend.
Yes.
And you just feel like, what is that?
Yeah. But
okay,
I
so
remember
you're-
3 men appearing in a room, and I'm like, maybe she just like got gangbanged one night. But
Yes,
it was
but
like,
you're-
no, those were ghosts. That's why you heard all that moaning.
Oh my God. Yeah, Bonnie, have you ever seen a ghost?
No.
Yeah, I
Never?
think some people are more in tune with that. I don't think I'm one of those people. I'm so grateful I'm not one of those, or that I'm not one of those people. But aliens, I mean, the threat of being abducted as a child
Yeah.
was just always with me. Like every time it got dark.
Yeah.
Just
That means you were abducted.
beam
they
of
probably
light
have you.
taking
You probably
me.
are getting abducted like every 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, and then they erase your brain.
Yes.
love to be abducted.
Do you have
right
like
now.
little marks on your body that you don't know what they're from?
No, but I don't.
Ever
I
wake
don't want
up
them to
after
torture
a
me,
full
but if
night's
they
sleep and be still super tired?
wait, yes.
Oh
Wait,
my
yes.
God!
Is this all-
That
You've
explains
been
it.
abducted.
I was always scared of the Men in Black. And I found out about the Men in Black before that movie because I was obsessed with UFOs and like all this stuff. And when they come in and get you and to keep you quiet about a photograph you took.
Oh, that's based on like a real thing?
Yeah, my aunt originally told me the Men in Black chased down her brother because he took the closest picture of a UFO ever taken in Indiana.
Yeah.
With
that's
her
where it
little
happens.
Girl Scout camera. It was like in the 70s, and he took a picture, and the Men in Black showed up at their door to be like, where's the photograph? And chased them down on a highway. And they looked inside the car at one point that was chasing them, and there was like nothing inside it. And they were all these stories are like family stories that I heard these as a kid, and I'm like, oh my, there's men that will show up and chase you if you've seen a UFO. So I didn't want to see one because I was like, I don't want this. I don't want to hit out on me.
Right.
I was terrified.
Man, that's crazy. It's
So I
weird
was-
that aliens are so obsessed with Indiana. Like, there's all kinds of sightings there. you know?
Yeah.
They must love basketball
They
or
do.
something.